What's going on, y'all? Welcome to a new episode of the Manga Noob. This week, we are going to be talking about Mission 3 of Spy Family. So, before we get started, I just want to give y'all a quick little reminder to go ahead, follow the podcast on whatever podcasting app you're listening to this on. If you are listening to this on YouTube, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to see the video version, then please head on over to my Patreon, patreon.com/power of G. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this has been a very fun experience so far. I didn't realize how fun it was gonna be talking about Spy Family because the story and the characters have been really, really good so far. And I've really enjoyed watching kind of like this ragtag group come together. And then you have all of them who are competent in their own ways. And I say in their own ways because Loid is clearly competent, Yor is clearly competent, but then they both have areas that they're lacking in. So Loid is kind of lacking in how to be normal. He knows how to act normal, but I feel like he's also in a place where he could walk away from anything at any given moment, but he knows that this mission is too important to do that. Where you have someone like Yor, who is a very competent killer, but when it comes to interacting with other people, that's her Achilles heel. My baby does not know how to talk to other people. And then Anya, listen, Anya's just Anya, okay? But what I've really been enjoying about this story so far is the way that their unique personalities are starting to come together. And even though they may not necessarily be able to make a lot of stuff work and a lot of stuff shake, they're starting to see each other as like, okay, well, if I'm going to keep this going, then I need you. And I just think that that's setting a good foundation of trust between them, watching them sort of understand that this is not going to be possible if I don't have you to help me with this plan, which I think is also going to kind of help Loid down the road, but we will get to that. So when we left our family in Mission 2, Loid had just proposed to Yor while they were in the midst of a chase by some bad guys, and they had just left a party where one of Yor's co-workers was trying her hardest to embarrass her, but she just couldn't because Yor was like, girl, anyway. And then Loid wrote in and he saved the day and he let them know Yor is that kind of girl that you want in your life. So we left them in a very, very good place. So the guidebook that I was telling y'all about, and if you're watching the video version, then you'll see it right here. The guidebook that I was telling y'all about, I want to start reading what they have as sort of like the story description. So the description says family bonding over a mugging. Loid is dispirited about his mission's prospects for success. But while relaxing in a park, the trio witness a mugging. They work together to catch the thief, and Loid feels the first signs of them gelling as a family. And it is so true. Like, this chapter was so fun. It's very short. This chapter is very short, but you do start to see the workings of him understanding that they are a family unit, regardless of how they met, regardless of anything else. He's starting to learn that other people see them as a family, and that's how they're starting to operate. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what happens in this chapter. So the main goal of this chapter is to get them ready for the interview that they're going to have with Eden Academy. So before they can do all of that, though, Yor is moving into the house so that they can, get everything going. And she's automatically just like, okay, so about this sleeping arrangement. And he stops her dead in her tracks and is like, baby, we got separate rooms. Don't even worry about that. Don't even think about it, because I promise you, you do not have to worry about that here. You're going to have your own place. But what's really funny is when they're moving all her stuff in, she's telling Anya, like, no, put that down. And then she's thinking to herself that it's her poison weapons. And Anya's like, ah. So it's just funny though. It's just funny to read because it's like Anya is just getting into everything, and then only she knows what things actually are because she's hearing people's inner thoughts. It's funny. So Loid is trying to get them ready for the interview, right? And he's reading the interview questions. And as he's reading them to them, he asks Anya, what do you do when you're not in school? And Anya says, Daddy leaves me home alone, so I just watch TV and feel sad. And it was just like, okay, Anya, he was like, no, ma'am. Anyway, we're just gonna skip on past that, and I'm just gonna go ask her question because you clearly do not know how to answer questions. So when he asked Yor like to describe her parenting style, she's like, strike hard. And he's thinking to himself, like, how in God's name did this woman raise her brother to be an upstanding citizen and she up here hitting him and doing all of this? So he just completely throws in the towel. I thought now the panel that it is him is him being like, this is totally useless. And I thought he was gonna walk away and just be like, I'm not even doing the mission anymore. But he was just saying we need to get out because he said they need some shared experiences and they need things that are going to expose them to some culture. They need some culture in their lives. And it is so cute. It is so, so cute. The Anya's calling in an outing. She's like, we're going on an outing, a family outing. She is so adorable. So they ask him, what are we doing exactly? Like, what's on the list? And he tells them that because of his connections at work, he gets all these free tickets. So he takes these people to the opera. Anya is asleep. Yor is like, okay. And then Loid is like, okay, time to move on to the next thing. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing for him is that everything is a let's move on to the next thing. It doesn't seem like he's really invested. I mean, of course, he's clearly not invested in it. He's probably been to these things before, but it's just the fact that he's only doing it so he can check off a box. And I think that just goes to show like the way that he thinks, the way that he views the world is everything is like check, 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 check. It's just something that he can say that they've technically done. And I think he was doing it really in a bid so that Anya could say, oh yeah, I did this. And she would have that one experience to draw on. So they go to a museum next, and Anya is just walking around talking about, I can see the lady's boobies. This man is missing a head, and he's just looking at her like, okay, girl, whatever. Your my sweet angel baby Yor is in no way, shape, form, or fashion discreet because she's sitting here staring at a picture of the guillotine and she is just like salivating. Face is red. She is clearly loving and in awe of what she is seeing. And I'm like, girl, you gotta calm it down for a second, ma'am. Like, even he's like, are you okay? So then he takes them to some political rally that's happening, and people are kind of showing their discontent with the other nation. And Anya starts to get a little woozy headed because let's remember, our girl is telepathic. So she can hear everyone's thoughts and it's just overwhelming her. So when she tells them, I don't like it here, they take her off and then she says she's hungry. And he's like, I thought you said you were tired. They go eat, and Anya is picking the nuts off of things because Anya loves peanuts. She loves like different kinds of nuts, things like that. Yor is sitting there like stroking a knife with her finger. And I'm like, ma'am, I need you to get it together as much as humanly possible. This woman is just sitting here touching a knife. I'm like, girl, who do you think you could possibly be fooling? You don't think that you look crazy? Like, even if nobody would think that you're a spy, you done all of this just so that you can get people off of your back about being 27 and unmarried. Meanwhile, you sitting up here doing this with knives? Ma'am, you look strange. People are going to report you anyway because you look crazy. Now, once he sees all of this foolishness, Loid just starts kind of like freaking out because he's like, these people are freaks. Okay. He is looking at them like these people are strange and there is no way that this mission can work. And I hate the fact that I even have to put my mission on other people because a good spy doesn't have to put his mission on other people and depend on them to get done what he needs to get done. But he realizes like he has to. So he's trying to think of different little ways that maybe he can help them to get through the interview. And he really thinks it's just hopeless. Then Yor apparently has put her knife down and she's just like, maybe we should go outside and get some fresh air. So they go outside to get some fresh air and they're looking out at the park and at the city, and it is just beautiful. Whoever drew those panels, they absolutely did an amazing job because it was breathtaking. I could almost imagine being there myself. That's just how beautifully drawn they were. And then for whatever reason, Anya says that people look like trash from up there. She could have said ants. She could have said anything, but for some reason she said trash. And Loid is like, where did you even learn that at? And they're all just kind of having this beautiful bonding moment because they're looking out at this beautiful place. Loid is getting a chance to just breathe and relax. And Yor is sharing how she found this place one day, and it helps her to decompress from work. It's just a beautiful moment. Yor also shares that when she's up there and she gets a chance to see all these people, that it helps her to remember that her work helps them, and it helps her to kind of feel refreshed and rejuvenated and feel like she can actually get back out there and go back to work. And Loid is just like, you can see, because we've already seen a little bit that Loid is doing all of this so that he can help people. All of this is just so that he can help other people not have to go through bad things in their life, through negativity, through war. And you can tell that this moment is affecting him. This was where it just became a little bit unhinged in a good way, not in a bad way, in a very, very good way. So at this point, they're up there, they're chilling, they're just looking at people. This old lady gets mugged. And what's funny about it is Loid is like, well, she should have been careful. Loid is just looking at the lady like, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you at this point, because you should have been on it. Our girl Yor, she immediately jumps right into action, and she goes to check on the old woman, and she's like, I'm gonna get your purse back, and I'm gonna take you to the hospital afterwards. And I was like, girl, not take her to the hospital. But the panel of Yor jumping down, leaping down the thing to go down the bridge or whatever it is to go check on the old lady, it is beautiful. Like, baby, it was illustrated. I could just hear the wind hitting her face as she whooshed on down. So Loid is looking into the crowd, but he can't spot this person that has gotten away. He's looking and looking and looking, and Anya starts to get a little woozy headed again because she's hearing all the voices. And Loid is like, oh God, not this. And then she can hear the man's thoughts, but she can't tell him like that's him right there, because I just know. So she points over to the man who's in front of a bakery, and she's like, I want a cake. And he's like, girl, we just ate. And as he's saying that, he's realizing, oh, that's the man right there. And he recognizes him by his walk. The man changed clothes, so he thinks that no one's gonna be able to spot him. But Loid is a super spy, and he notices everything, so he can recognize the way that the man was walking. So at that point, Yor circles back around, and Loid tells her to watch Anya. So the man is sitting there thinking like, oh, I'm gonna treat myself to a nice dinner. I'm finna be living fat. And then Loid comes, pushes this man's head into the pavement, and says, eat pavement. That's not actually what he said. What he actually said was, open wide, scumbag, dinner is served. And I said, you know what? You better eat that up, Loid. You better eat that up. I'm thinking about later on what Anya says, but we'll get there. So they give the money back to the older woman, and she says that she was going to give that money to her grandchild. And she tells them that they have a beautiful family. She thanks Yor, she thanks Loid, and Loid initially doesn't want to take a thank you because, again, he was not going to help this woman. That was not his intention. But he thinks back to them saying, like, your job is thankless. You're going to always work in the shadows. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna take this thank you this one time because I don't typically get it. And then Anya's thinking, Papa is a softie. And I was like, girl, he is. He just like, it's beautiful to see him be acknowledged, especially when you know that he's not typically acknowledged. But I think more than anything, it's also nice that he's allowing himself to be complimented, because he very easily could have just been like, I'm not going to take that compliment because I didn't do anything. I wasn't going to help you. But he allows himself to receive that compliment. And I think that we are already getting some good character work from him. So the lady says that they are a beautiful family, and Loid and Yor are looking at each other. And Anya's like, oh, Mama and Papa are about to kiss. And they're like, no, we're not. You better shut up. And they just they're just having a fun little moment. And at the same time, Loid is saying, I see exactly what you mean about that get back to work feeling. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. So this time they go back to the apartment, and he's asking Anya the questions again. And she does a little bit better. She says, like, I go to the opera and I go to museums and go to restaurants. And he's like, okay, good, 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 good. That's good. If you saw someone in If you saw a friend do something bad, what would you do? And Anya says, I make them eat pavement. And he's like, you know what? This is completely hopeless. And I was so tickled. Anya truly is funny. She truly is the MVP of these episodes, of these stories, and of these chapters. But in the end, Lloyd does realize it's a good thing that they're at least being able to be seen as a family, because he realizes that they're making some progress in some kind of way. And the chapter ends, and it was just such a beautiful ending to such a good chapter. Now, like I said, this chapter was very, very short, but I think that we got a lot of good material from it because we get a chance to see a little bit more of how sort of orderly Lloyd is in his approach to things. Yor is just along for the ride. Anya's just happy to be there. And we see Lloyd trying to make the pieces fit the way that he wants them to. And the backlash that he gets, and the pushback that he gets from the two of them not really being able to fit that mold the way he wants them to, is very entertaining to watch, because Anya's a little wild card. Baby, he is not gonna tell my girl what to do. He can try to guide her in what to do, but that's about it. But watching him start to compromise and not be so rigid and just, I need it to go like this, him starting to see the small wins. Like, okay, no, we may not be getting the answers to the questions right, but people are starting to see us as a family. That, I think, is him allowing himself to be more flexible. And that flexibility can be something really good that's going to help them achieve the mission. Or that flexibility can be really bad and it's going to put all of them in danger. We're just going to have to wait to see which way it goes. Now, as much as I love Yor, okay, as much as I love Yor, I was like, baby love, my sweetest darling, why are you sitting up here playing with knives like this and being obsessed with the guillotine? Girl, you sticking out like a sore thumb. I don't know. It was just funny because I'm like, girl, you gonna have to put up a better front than this. And it's kind of like Anya, right? Anya knows that she can't tell them she's telepathic, and I think that that forces her to be very creative in the way that she relays information that needs to be relayed. Like, she's a little girl, so of course sometimes when she's not really thinking about it, she doesn't check herself. So earlier when they were at the dinner table, she told him, it'll be all right, Papa. And he was like, what are you talking about? Because he didn't know that she could, hear his thoughts. But then other times, like the thing with the bakery and pointing at that and saying, I want cake, that was brilliant. That was something that was really smart, and it shows that she's able to think on her feet. She's just a little girl. And sometimes, you know, kids are not the brightest. They do impulsive things because they're children. And I think that we're starting to see the creativity in her mind and the way that she protects herself, but also gets things done to help them. And I think it's also really sweet that she wants to help them accomplish things as much as she can. She just knows that she can't necessarily tell them she's a telepath. But that also makes me wonder what's going to happen when she does tell them. Like, when they do find out that she's a telepath, I wonder how that's going to affect their dynamic. Now, speaking of their dynamic, one thing that I do think is starting to emerge is that Loid is hyper aware of what this academy is going to expect from them, what they're going to expect their family unit to look like. And, we talked in previous episodes a little bit about the fact that the school even wants a mother and a father, the fact that both parents have to be there, and the fact that they specify mother and father. So it's like, they have some very old school traditional values, and I think that it's very intuitive of Loid to be in tune with that and know what this ideal family looks like, and being well rounded and being part of the upper class, because that's the other part to remember. He's not just trying to look like a family, he's trying to look like an upper class family. And I won't lie to you, Loid is probably my favorite story, just as far as like, Anya, I feel like is my favorite character so far, either Anya or Yor. But Loid's development so far, even just in chat up to chapter 3, has been my favorite, because we get a chance to see this contrast in him between what he knows his duty is and what he actually is starting to feel, because you can tell he's starting to feel things, because he's starting to smile. Like, when he looks at them, sometimes he smiles, and it is just the cutest thing. It's like, oh my God. Then I'm like, oh my heart. He's looking at them like they're, really his family. And I am enjoying seeing this journey for him. Think that one of the biggest things that this whole situation is teaching us is that truly appearances, what you see, are not always reality. Sometimes the things that we see are something that people have perfectly crafted so that they can make you think that they have this big beautiful family, or they have this big beautiful house or life or whatever. Meanwhile, underneath is a house of cards, and is one good step away, one good blow away from falling down. I think it's a really, really good commentary on that. And I like the fact that we're watching him slowly start to realize, you know what? Whatever. As long as people think this, I'm good. And we can kind of, it feels like he's saying we can work out from there. Like instead of trying to get everything down to the finest detail, he's just like, okay, as long as we can, make it look all right, we can put the band-aids on after that. Because that's what other people do. That's what normal people do. Like people's lives are very, very meticulously crafted sometimes to make you think something. And in that regard, Loid is just fitting in. Now, I will say that the MVP of this chapter to me was Anya, because Anya, everything hinges on her. Let's just start there. Like, even if they get in, it's gonna hinge on her ability to stay in the school. Everything is gonna hinge on her, and she knows that, and she's still able to like go through the motions of it. But also, Anya is, like I said, getting creative with the way that she uses her telepathy, and she tells people things without actually telling them how she knows it. I just love her character so much. And anytime and also it's so sad like to watch her get overwhelmed with all the voices and stuff when she's in big crowds. But I think that goes to show just how powerful she is, that she can hear all of these thoughts. And it makes me wonder, like in this universe, what powerful looks like. Are there other telepaths who can maybe only hear one or two voices? Are there, like, what is her strength level compared to other people who may be part of this program? And I want to know more about the program that started her as a telepath anyway. But I feel like somewhere down the road we're gonna get into that. I feel like at some point they're going to cross paths with the people that were experimenting on her. And speaking of that, I just feel in my heart and soul that at some point Yor is gonna be contracted to kill Loid. I don't know why. I just feel like somebody's gonna hire her to take out Twilight, and then she's gonna figure out who Twilight is. And it I just feel it in my heart and in my soul, and I know that when that moment comes, my baby is going to choose him. I just know she is, because she's going to know that not only is her need to kind of hide herself more important, but they're going to fall in love. And nobody can tell me that those people are not going to fall in love. And if you think that they aren't, I don't know what else to tell you. I do not know what else to tell you, because those people are going to fall in love at some point. I would be willing to bet my bottom dollar. Now, unfortunately, we did not get any new names to add to our, hierarchy of names. So Donovan Desmond remains at the top. And hopefully in our next chapter, we will get some more names that we can add, because the list is looking a little sparse right now. Well, with that, everyone, like I said, this was a very short chapter, so this is going to be a very short episode. I hope that y'all join me again next week for Mission 4, where we finally have the big interview and we get a chance to see how that's going to turn out. And I am very, very ready to see how this interview is going to turn out. I don't know about y'all, but I am hyped. So hopefully I will catch you there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave me a review. Let me know. Go on ahead and click the stars. Give me a rating, okay? That would be really, really nice to help out the podcast. And if you want to hit follow on whatever your podcasting app is, please do so, or subscribe to the YouTube, or head on over to my Patreon, patreon.com/powerofg. And outside of that, you can find me everywhere on social media at They Call Me Mr. G. I cannot wait to have more conversations with you about a little spy family. And over the course of the next month or so, we're going to be introducing some Naruto and some Sign of Affection. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to share those stories with y'all, and I'm so excited to add that into our rotation. If you want to hear some bonus episodes over on the Patreon, head on over to patreon.com/powerofg. I've done some bonus content on Fire Force and also on Tokyo Revengers. I think that that's going to be our little recurring bonus segment over there. So head on over if you want some more manga discussion. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this episode off here. I can't wait to see y'all same time next week. Next Monday, I will see y'all again so we can get into the interview during mission 4. Y'all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I will catch you later. Bye.